Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Artem Koker podcast. I am here sitting with a wonderful guest, Shah-Ameer Wali, aka your boy Shimmer. And I'm so excited to bring this episode because we basically have a low-key TikTok influencer.
Let's go.
And I just think it would be really fun to be able to talk about just some of the ways that you've been growing on TikTok and just on social media and your brand, and just talk a little bit more about some of those strategies and what has really helped you propel forward within the last couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on here.
Dude, me too.
This is your, 8th, 9th episode?
Yeah, so I think actually 10th, dude.
10th?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. 10th episode. That's awesome. So I'm actually really happy to be here and excited to share the knowledge.
Dude, thank you.
That I have. So.
Dude, I'm so pumped. And just for everyone's awareness, so we actually met while filming a couple of weddings.
Yeah, a couple of weddings. And I think we had a lot of experiences in that regard. So I think it's cool coming from like a social media background, because obviously the way we record film is like very different from how like traditional weddings and stuff like that. Yeah. And I took a lot of elements and inspiration from you guys.
Oh, really?
And implemented it into my content as well.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I was telling you, dude, I just take everything that we did from film and I apply it into podcasting. It's just a smooth transition.
Because that aspect like helps in every regard.
Yeah.
Right? But like obviously social, not many traditional people understand social. So
yeah,
I think I'm excited to share the insight, you know?
Yeah, dude, 100%.
If I can.
No, dude, let's go. So tell me, like, what, first of all, just let people know exactly like who you are, where you're at, where you currently are in your life, and with your brand on social media. And let's just dive a little bit deeper from there.
For sure. So I'm an artist and content creator, right? Yep. So I make music, but I also make content on socials like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that. I started on YouTube just to make like vlogs and videos and music videos as well. And I've grown 2 channels, over 30,000 subscribers. On TikTok, I have over 170,000 followers.
Dude, popping off.
And then on Instagram, I think I have around like 7,000. And a lot of that was more recent. So TikTok and Instagram, and especially YouTube, I've been growing on the short form content side of things. So that's been really awesome. So
yeah, dude, and I've been looking at it. I mean, like one of your biggest videos has like 22 million views.
Yeah.
On TikTok. That's wild.
And that video especially is like me just gaming. Yeah. And, you know, somebody makes like a joke about like Pakistan and stuff like that. And then that just goes crazy, you know? Yeah. They're like, oh, grape, like, which is like a meme. So, yeah. And the thing is, like, the content that I make, it's like all very different. It's not like one content. Like sometimes I'll make gaming videos. Sometimes I'll interview people when I go to conventions. Yeah. Other times it'll be like podcast clips. So it's different types of content.
No, dude, I like that. And so talk about, again, like dive a little bit deeper. Like how did you start with, I guess, like, you know, posting this content? How did you find all these different niches that you are in today?
Yeah. So I started on YouTube like a while back. I was like 10 years old. And there was an anime called Naruto. And
bro, you're talking about it like it's gone. You're talking about like this is like...
no. Naruto's still, you know, popping. But I think when I was 10...
Except Boruto, dude. You can
Boruto, yeah, Boruto. I just haven't touched that.
Boruto's boring.
But when I was 10, I was watching Naruto on Cartoon Network, and I think
was it on Cartoon Network?
It was on Toonami.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So it was only like 20 episodes in, right? Okay. And then I Google searched, and I was like, I wanted to watch more, but I didn't know how. So I Google searched it, and there was a website called YouTube in 2005.
Yeah.
And so nobody knew about YouTube, but on YouTube, they had Naruto, and you could watch the episodes further than Toonami. And so I was like, oh, this is interesting.
They had full-on episodes?
They had full-on episodes. However, they only had it in parts because the max limit was like 7-8 minutes on YouTube. So they had like episode 42, part 1, episode 42, part 2, you know, episode 42, part 3. So then I found this website called YouTube, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I can watch Naruto. And then I saw like other people like Smosh and Ryan Higa like making content by themselves, uploading it. So I started, you know, uploading videos on my webcam, and so I started uploading dancing, you know, random, whatever. And that's when I fell in love with content. And I learned how to video edit on Windows Movie Maker.
Dude, that was me too. No joke. That was literally my story. Yeah. Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah. Windows Movie Maker was the best. And like, but there was limitations, right? Like you only had one layer.
Yep.
And so then if you wanted multiple layers, you had to export it and then, you know, put another video on top of that. And so yeah, Windows Movie Maker.
The OG.
That's when I like love talking to people and they're like, oh, I use Windows Movie Maker too. It's like, yo, you knew the struggle.
Yeah.
You knew the struggle.
But remember all the titles and the text?
Yes, it was like Comic Sans.
Oh
like,
my god, yeah.
And it just came in. But I think, that's how I knew like people were really OG if they used Windows Movie Maker.
That's what's up. Bro, the good old days of YouTube where you can actually just put on full episodes and not get flagged or taken down.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
That's how you know it was the golden days.
Yeah, golden days. And so like I've just been uploading and obviously had zero success, right? I would just upload to like, and only my friends from school, middle school would see, but I still loved making the content, right? And that's how I learned how to edit. And I thank myself from like, age 10 to like 16 to just edit and love the, form of editing.
The process.
And the storytelling and just random goofy, being not afraid to be on front of camera. I think that's what a lot of people need to like learn and want to learn, but like I just did it since I was a kid, so like it was just naturally in me.
Yeah. And
I wasn't like a super outgoing person either. It's just I loved being in front of the camera. I loved sharing my stories and all that. So YouTube was that outlet. And once these other platforms started coming out like Vine, Instagram, and stuff like that, I used my YouTube storytelling aspects and implemented it in those other social media forms, and they worked really well because people are just posting pictures of their food, making like 6-second vines and whatnot.
And getting 20 million.
Yeah, getting 20 million. I still was not getting anything, but I still impressed the people around me.
Yeah.
With the forms of storytelling that I was doing and the random content. Like there was no official content that I was making. I was just whatever I thought was cool. I just made it.
Yeah.
But 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago, like TikTok comes around and they had this new wave of creating short form content. And it was kind of like bringing back Vine after Vine shut down, right?
Yeah.
And TikTok was able to algorithmically push out your content to random people. Because before it was just your subscribers. YouTube sort of had an algorithm, but it was very difficult to break in. And so
especially coming in as a new creator.
Yeah. And like the thing is with YouTube, it's like you have to target a certain niche. And I think I was targeting like my own brand out there. And that's really hard for new people to like get into, right? If you're like, oh, I'm this person. And they're like, who are you? What do you do? And I'm just like vlogging my life. It's like, it's very difficult to tell random
especially
people.
With the amount of content that gets uploaded every single day. You really need to be hyper niche focused, like a niche within a niche.
Yeah.
To really start like picking up. And that's one of the things that I learned too, like within business. Like you really like maybe starting out general at first is good, just so you can get your a different taste of different things.
100%.
But then eventually, like if you really want to grow, you have to focus on very specific things. And you have to become like the number one well-known person like within that specific thing that people are go to. Like, oh yeah, if I need like a really sick music video, I go to Shimmer. Like that's the guy.
Yeah.
And then from that you can really start doing exponential growth. And then once you get up to that level, then you can actually go back to trying a lot of different things, because then you already have a really strong foundation.
100%. And yeah, I think at first, when I first had like some success, I had a couple friends that were like into making videos. And what we did is we made like, parodies of like Desi, we made parodies of songs, but we made them like Desiified, right? So that's kind of where I first had like...
Desiified is for anyone that's listening.
Yeah, like South Asian, like, Pakistani Urdu, like influence Hindi, and stuff like that.
That type of style.
So, there was a song called Gucci Gang, right? Yeah. And we converted that song, we made it a parody, and we made it Packy Gang.
Packy Gang,
yeah. So that video just like instantly like went crazy over the internet and whatnot. And so
how many views did you guys? Was it on YouTube or like social?
It went crazy everywhere. But on YouTube, it has like 950,000 views.
Dude,
and that's insane.
Especially
for like 2017, like 2018.
Dude, that's wild. You almost got a million views.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And I don't think it hit the algorithm. It was just like people were sharing it that much.
Really?
Like people were sharing it that much. On Facebook, it went crazy, and they actually took it down.
Really?
Yeah, because in the UK,
it's going too hard.
It's going too hard. But in the UK, like
Mark Zuckerberg was like, "Listen, man, we cannot have this.
We can't spread this too much." And the Instagram was going crazy as well, but they took it down in Facebook because in the UK that term is actually a slur.
Oh, really?
So
like Pocky Gang or
Packy, just Packy.
Oh, Packy.
So, yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that's a slur, and so like
what does that mean?
It's just a short term for Pakistani, but like they used it for all South Asians.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but it's just in the UK.
Okay.
So for us, we were like, oh, we're just flaunting it and whatnot.
Yeah.
But so we had like a run of like success with Desi content, South Asian content, and so that's kind of where I learned like, okay, this is where you can like niche and have your like staple in the game. And we practiced our skills with vlogging behind the scenes of our music videos, and we like put in a lot of effort into our music videos. And so people found it very funny because they already knew these songs, right? But we added our own like elements of rap and our production styles into it, and so it got people familiar with us because we kind of like attached ourselves with something. And I think what people can learn from that is when you're getting into something, you can obviously use influence, but put your own spin on it.
Yeah.
Put your own spin on it. And like going into the algorithm, any algorithm it could be, it's find something that people already like and then put your twist on it. Yeah. So for us, like the parodies, it was perfect. People already knew these songs, but seeing our spin on it, they're like, oh my God, this is creative and funny.
And especially in the South Asian community.
Yeah.
I mean, like those communities are very tight knit.
Yeah.
So that was your hyper-focused niche?
Yeah, hyper-focused niche.
I like it. And also your guys' music videos are very dynamic, very creative, very well produced too. I mean, dude, I love that one. I love that. It was very good.
Yeah.
And the bars were pretty good too. I'm not going to lie.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we just put in a lot of effort because, in the YouTube space especially, like people are just grab a camera and go like DIY. Yeah. And, we did that too. It's not like, we're not knocking them. It's just how can we push it to the next level? Yeah. And even though it's a parody, we still treat it like it's an actual music video. And that's what makes it fun. And same with our originals. Like we put in a lot of effort as well. Yeah. And I think that's what because you learn, different aspects of it and how to like produce and direct and all these little skills that you can just take anywhere else, Yeah. And I think that's what made us market, we want to expand our business like that, but we thought creative first, right? Mm-hmm. We always thought like, how can we have people enjoy our content first? And so we sold some merch. We actually went on a tour to different colleges around the US.
And that's wild.
Yeah, honestly it is.
Pause that for a moment. So you made music videos. They popped off so well that you had requests from different universities to go out and perform.
Yeah.
And was it for? And it was colleges or high school?
It was mostly colleges.
Okay, colleges.
We didn't do any high schools, but it was mostly colleges. There'd be some people that are putting together a show, and then they'll be like, "Hey, we want you like on this show as well."
Well, what kind of shows were these?
So there was like a convention where they had like Pakistani doctors.
Okay.
And it's very like expensive.
Pakistani doctors.
Yo, it's
and
insane.
It was there, you guys.
Yeah. And so,
oh man.
So they had multiple different rooms in the convention, and they'll have like some of the biggest artists ever.
Really.
And then they'll have like different managers managing different concerts in that convention.
That's crazy.
And so one of the managers of one of the events, they're like, "Hey, we want you on. And we'll fly you out." And we didn't think it was real. We're like, what? What's going on?
You thought it was a scam?
Yeah, we thought it was a scam. Literally till the day of the performance, we thought it was a scam. But we're like, all right, let's just go. Yeah. Let's do it. And then...
This is a convention for doctors?
Yeah, it's a convention for doctors.
What?
It's crazy.
Bro, doctors have money.
They have so much money. It's insane. But yeah, and we would do shows like that. Some shows, like, we'd only get paid for the flight, but we were like, all right, that's still like,
It's huge exposure.
It's still huge exposure.
And some merch.
And then merch, yeah, exactly. So we'd like sleep at people's dorms rooms and then like perform the day of.
That's funny.
And people were like recognized us, which was crazy.
Yeah.
It was like insane feeling. So
that's so wild. So what's the name of you guys' group?
So it's called Rono Pono. So RWNLPWNL.
Yeah, it's still, I know it, and it's still one of the hardest things to remember.
Dude, even like Pakistani people, they don't even know how to understand it. So it's not like a you thing.
You got to rebrand it, bro. Like RWX, just make it three. Like 5 is too much for the brain.
But I think what separates us is just like if people really love it, they'll find it.
Yeah, facts.
So
that's true.
I think that's why we kept with it. And people always ask like, what does it mean? It has no meaning. Like it literally has no meaning.
You just came up with it. Yeah. Even in Urdu, it's like
it has no meaning.
No,
literally has no meaning.
That's funny. I like it.
So yeah, that's just the name of our group, and we've been working on an album for so long. So
that's awesome.
That's what we've been doing there. But obviously, we're still learning how to like expand this creative business. But I think what people can realize is that like content is what can drive people's businesses as well. Like whether you're a restaurant, you know, whether you're selling something on the side, like pushing content is free marketing for you, you know? And for us, we just went content first, but businesses can, you know, obviously sell a product or sell a service, but use marketing to sell those things.
So how many people are in your guys' group for that?
For our group, so we have 3 main. It's me, Faraz, and Amber, but we have friends that help us, you know, like Daura, Ahmad, and Saad. They help us like on behind the scenes or become actors in our videos. But yeah, it's 3 main.
And so are you guys the ones that are like producing the music and the music videos? Or what's your guys' role?
Yeah, so the main 3 of us, our roles are kind of malleable. But, you know, it depends on the project, but we'll produce, we'll write, we'll, you know, record, we'll direct, we'll produce. And it's just depending on whose idea it was, like, you know, or whatever role's not there, we'll like fill. But we're all pretty much malleable in those roles, which makes it really good, I think. Yeah.
And so you guys started, just to bring it full circle, you guys started with doing a lot more of parody style. And again, you would take popular songs, you would remix them in more of like the Desi South Asian style. It would pop off. And now what you guys are doing, and again, popped off so well that you guys got a following, you got flown out to different schools and universities, colleges to perform, and doctor conventions apparently too. And now your goal is to produce like your own full-on album.
Yeah. So it's our own full album that we've been working on forever. But, you know, obviously, like, we still have to fund our lives as well. And, like, all the money that we've kind of made, we kind of, like, put it back into the business and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of figuring out other ways of, like, not even just entrepreneurship, but, like, you know, some people in our group, you know, have a 9-to-5 to like support them as well. And I just wanted to learn more about the creative business. So for me, I just also started like making my own content as well and figuring out how to like run a creative content business. So that's kind of how we're funding it right now while the album's being produced slowly.
I love it. Do you guys have a date in terms of when you think it's going to be released?
I wish we had a date. We've been working on it for so long. We started like when COVID started.
Oh, jeez.
So
how many tracks?
We have around 10, 11 tracks.
Nice.
Yeah. So
dude, I'm excited. So I don't know if you know this, dude, but I actually produced 3 albums myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
I knew you made music.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like our stories are actually so similar, and we've never talked about this just because when we're usually together, it's for weddings.
Work. For work.
But or that Friendsgiving, but that was a one-time thing. So, like I also started out like very early in the YouTube days. I remember my sister got this pink laptop and it had a webcam on it. And so, dude, I like my first video was me dancing with my friend in our Halloween costumes to the Numa Numa dance song.
Oh my gosh, that was classic.
Yeah, it was legendary. So that's essentially how I started. Also, like producing videos, and also in Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah,
I was doing that stuff, and dude, I'm telling you, like, we are so similar. It's
That's
scary because I actually also used to go to anime conventions and I would interview people, and I still have those videos.
Really?
Yeah,
I need to see those.
Yeah, dude, I still have an old YouTube channel where I made a lot of that content, and fortunately, it's dead. No, I'm kidding.
But the videos are still up?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
I still got them. Yeah. So I would used to go, and this was back when. So we used to live in Utah, then we moved to Cali, and Cali is when I really started to push out a lot more video content, and I would go to their Fanime convention in what is it? I think it's in San Francisco or something like that. And I would go and also like just interview people, and I would post that. And yeah, it was just so fun, dude. And then also later on, at some point, I really got into music and music production. And so I created like several albums. And one of them, we actually ended up producing while I was in Korea.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we ended up making a bunch of music videos while we were out there too. And that was just, yeah, dude, it was a blast. Yeah.
You sent me some of your music videos and they were very well produced.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Everything's like fire. So I was like, yo, this is crazy.
No, it's just fun because I think, you know, creative people like you yourself, right? You see so many different pathways. It doesn't need to be just one or the other. But again, like we both recognize that you do have to be really good at, you know, certain things to start popping off. But then, you know, why limit yourself to one or the other? There's so many different things that you want to do. And honestly, like music video is like, for example, music videos to me is like such a creative thing because you have the song, you have the videography, you have the video editing, you have all the other visuals on top of it, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
And then there's promotion strategies. There's like everything is just a creative ball of chaos.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know how you felt, but like for me, when I was making these things, people would be like, yo, why are you wasting your time on that? You know, and I'm like, I'm learning skills that like can easily be sellable, or like that I can create for myself, right? Like when you're making a music video, like you said, you know, you're directing, you're editing, you're filming, and you're learning all these skills, and you've probably put all those skills into your business that you've been doing currently. So it's like, I mean, how did you feel about that?
Dude, it's amazing. And by the way, I do want to say, like, I didn't have anybody downplay me too hard. I feel like that's definitely a Pakistani thing.
Okay. That's good then. That's good.
No, but you know how it is, man. The parents are going to be like, yo, why are you not a doctor?
Exactly. It's like, oh, what's going on?
But yeah, no, for sure. I definitely think once you get good at something and you have success in that, it's so much easier to apply it to another industry or another niche and blow up. And I think, for example, like with podcasting, right? We have all these things in place to be able to go into podcasting and to be able to dominate it. Why? Because I've done audio in the past, so audio is nothing new to me. We've also done like a lot of weddings, and you have to like learn to shoot very high quality audio from there. We already do so much cinema work, so we already have like the camera and the gears, and we've done a lot of marketing in the past. So like all those three things come together so quickly. With the snap of a finger, boom, you got a podcast, and now you roll it.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think for like other businesses or whatever, like they also need to like learn these strategies. I think if you are, you know, whatever business you're in, I think it's very helpful and, you know, to learn these skills, because these platforms are free marketing, right? It's literally free marketing, and you can have people fall in love with your product, your service, just by you being yourself. And it's crazy. Like you just develop that connection and whatnot. I think it's a beautiful time.
So let's talk about that free marketing, because it's not quite free. It requires time, energy, effort, and all those things, and then potential like emotional damage when you don't get what you want. So dude, tell me, like, what has been do you feel like there was like any type of like pivot point for you when you felt like you really started to pop off or gain traction, or was it just like a combination of things?
So I've had like little waves of like virality, but I've also like went up and then went straight down.
Really?
Yeah. So like around the Rono Pono era, like 2017.
The roller what?
Rono Pono.
What is that?
That's our YouTube channel.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So 2017, 2018.
Bro, see, I'm telling you, like, you gotta change that.
It's too late now. Our brand's out there. They're gonna ask us to come back. It's like, yo, what? Where's Rono Pono? It's like, yo, we changed our name, bro. No, but
so yeah, Rono Pono.
Yeah, Rono Pono.
Rono Pono. Okay, hold on. Spell it again for me. Pronounce it, dude.
RWNL PWNL.
Okay, and say it slowly.
Rono Pono.
Rono Pono.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm close enough.
Yeah, you're close enough. So 2017, 2018, we, you know, had huge success with Packy, and we're getting flown out to shows and whatnot. And then we start working on our original album, and COVID hits. So like, you know, we can't hang out as much, you know, and we can't film out as much. Everything's locked down. You know, we used to vlog, you know, go out, and in between making our music and our videos, right? We had content that was like in between. So we had a lot of traction there, but you know, like things started slowing down. We started uploading our content on TikTok, and TikTok was kind of new. It was like 2019, and those videos started popping off. Like again, the same old videos. I just repurposed them. Like I would chop our music videos, and I've chopped all of them into like different pieces, like the verse, the chorus, and just posted those music videos on TikTok, and they were doing really well.
How short? Like 15 seconds?
Yeah, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, nice. And it's just from the music video. Like no extra work. Literally, all I would do is just move the framing of the vertical video. So I'd convert our horizontal videos to vertical videos.
Did you put any text at the top of it?
At the time, no. In some of them, I did.
Okay.
So
did that help? Did you feel like?
I think it did, yeah. In some of them, it helped. Some of them, it didn't. I just didn't understand at the time. Like, this was like before anybody had subtitles and text and all that stuff. But I realized some of them, they would do really well because I would just chop, because we would have subtitles in our videos, like every video. So I would just like cut those and then like put them in on the screen. So I didn't have to like type it all out. Yeah. And so some of them would do well, some of them wouldn't. And so that's how I learned how to do TikTok. And so I was like, oh, wait, I can like niche to people and put little hashtags to like target a certain audience. And so then once everything started closing down and I still wanted to like make content, I was like, all right, let me start streaming because everyone's like streaming. So I started like streaming on Twitch, which is like playing games, talking to the chat and all that stuff. And so I could do it weekly and still make content, but I wanted to promote it and market that content. So how do I get people to come to my streams? Well, I can shorten the clips, put it on TikTok, put it on Instagram, put it on YouTube. And so that's how I kind of gained virality from there.
Nice.
And yeah, so then once things started opening up, I was like, okay, conventions are opening up. I've always wanted to interview people, but either never really had somebody to help me film or whatnot. There's just so many variables, but I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. So I had my uncle. He's like,
bro, that was your uncle that was helping you film?
Yeah.
No way.
My uncle, he's just a huge, he loves talking to people. He's very extroverted. And also he was like, oh, I'm down to help you. Like he was just, always just down to help. So he comes out and mostly he just wants to talk to the girls, but it's like a win-win situation. I get to get my content. He gets to talk to the girls. So
he gets to talk to all the furries.
Yeah, the furries. That's maybe what he wants. So he's just not saying it. So yeah, we started going out to all these conventions, and whatever's nearby, we'll just, buy a day ticket, whatnot, and then film that. And those would do really well on TikTok. And I'd, obviously put subtitles over it. And so you just meet more people, and I just found different avenues. And that's how I knew, like, yeah, you get into a niche, but you can have many niches into your content because it's all algorithmic. So
yeah. How do you feel like TikTok has transformed the way you look at content and the way you're posting, especially now sitting at 170,000 followers? That's pretty substantial, right? Do you feel like your videos on average like get an X amount of views or an X amount of traction just because you have the followers, or do you still feel like it can be hit or miss just because there's so many people?
I think it's a hit or miss because TikTok is actually very different from every other platform. The follower count doesn't even matter. It just shows how many people just click follow, and all your videos are algorithmic. So
you can literally have somebody with like 0 followers still like hit 1 mil if his video is just like the most viral for whatever reason.
Yep. And I think that's the beauty of it, because a lot of people can discover you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people can discover you, and it's kind of like democratic. So the follower count, I think it just gives like a basis of people whenever they come to your page that like you've made a lot of successful content or a lot of successful videos. And that's what I like about TikTok, is that a lot of new people get to see you. You get to target niches better, and anybody can get into it. Like you don't have to have a highly produced video. You can have a low produced video and still do well. You can have a high produced video and still do well. It just, whatever is good, it will be seen and shown if you know how to target the right audience.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed about TikTok is it's definitely not like a platform for beauty and art. It seems like, or an art in the way that like very beautifully shot, very beautifully edited. It really seems like it's a lot more kind of almost ratchet and just literally the epitome of like whatever's going to drive your attention the fastest. Yeah. So it's like it can be ugly, meaning like you can have text everywhere and kind of be like just like make you almost like cringe when you're looking at it visually, but as long as if it gets your attention, it will go.
Yeah. And there are niches where like it's like cinematography TikTok and stuff like that. So they like do it really well where, they'll make it beautifully shot and all that stuff. But if you realize like audio is actually a huge thing on TikTok, and what I mean by that is you'll see people, before you just record on your phone and they'll just have like a front facing camera, but now they attach their headphones and they speak into the mic. So their audio is more clear or like louder and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, they're evolving. They're evolving. Literally. They're evolving. So, and then people are getting the road clips now. You see interviewers everywhere now. Yeah. People are leveling up the content. That's just a natural of every platform. Yeah. But I think it's beautiful to see like how people can change their lives or get seen and discovered and expose themselves. So
dude, that's amazing. So having such a big follower count, say on TikTok, and semi pretty decent on Instagram and YouTube, do you actually get like any paid sponsorships or anything like that?
Yeah. So TikTok, some of my best sponsorships. I've worked with Fortnite. I've worked with Turtle Beach, which is a headphone company.
Yeah. I've used them.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, I've used them before. I still got my Turtle Beach in the basement somewhere.
I used to use them like way back in the day.
Yeah.
I use the Steel Series now, but like
you're hurting them.
You're hurting them.
They're not going to sponsor you anymore. They're gonna hear this and be like, Shimmer, what are you doing?
Shimmer, what are you doing? It's okay. Steel Series. Yeah, come through.
Sponsor, bro.
I mean, they don't owe me anything. It was just one post, you know? Okay. So, but no, it was an honor. It was like, okay. And then I've worked with Snapchat as well. I've worked with other, I'm working currently with an energy drink company called Sneak Energy. So they're kind of like, you know, sort of like G Fuel, but better. They taste better. And, they're from the UK, so but they're like, you know, these brands and companies that I get to work with, I don't think I would have ever worked with if I like worked anywhere else, you know, or if I did anything else. But they see the content, they're like, hey, can you do a promotional post or whatnot? But I think the best value is like connecting with those influencer managers and whatnot, and for other opportunities as well.
No, for sure. So when you're starting off and when you're kind of like ramping up, you know, with the follower count and with the traction, when these people come to you with sponsorships, because I think this is a big question for a lot of people, and obviously probably varies from Instagram to TikTok, but like, do people pay you in products? Do people pay you in money? And if they do pay you in cash, like what's the range that someone can like expect if they got, you know, let's say like 1 to 200 or like probably under 500,000 followers?
Yeah. So, okay. So it's all of the above, right? Like everything you said, like some people pay you in products. Some people will pay you like a commission, like, hey, if you sell like this amount with your code, we'll give you, you know, 10, 20, 25%. Or they give you a flat rate fee, like, hey, we'll pay you, you know, this amount if, you know, we'll pay you this amount and you just post it. Some people do, hey, we'll pay you this amount, but we'll give you more if you get like this amount of views. Yeah. So the first two, where somebody sends you a product and you just make a video about it, I say never do that. Personally, I never do that because, you know, you're doing a lot for them more than they just give you a product, right? Unless you really love the product.
Oh, this is like a $4,000 camera, Sony. I'm looking at you.
But usually those companies, when they give you like a product, sometimes to review and stuff like that, like those are amazing. Sony, you know, anything like that. But I usually don't take those unless you really love the product already or love the company already. So I recommend, you know, never to do that. You could be like, hey, you can send it, but like I shouldn't be guaranteed to make a video about it. Then the next one is the affiliate code, which is you know, if somebody uses your code to buy that specific product after you make a video, you get a percentage. I think that's also not great because
I feel like also
because you're still making a video for them. You should get paid for that work, right? And so, you know, for some people they might be great, but I say, you know, just still don't do that. So the next part is sponsored posts. So this is like anywhere where you can negotiate, but what people can expect and people want to expect is like, I feel like if you have around 25 to 50,000 on TikTok, it's kind of like $100 to $200 per post. And you can also get more if you have a lot of viewership. It just ranges on your viewership, your demographics, your engagement. People look at all that. I'd say from the 50 to 100,000, you can get away with $250 to $250 to $500. I think that's a good standard range. And then if you're from 100,000 to probably 250,000, I would say 500 to 1,000 is like average, is good. And then obviously you can do more based on how niche your community is and whatnot. But it's just all negotiations, to be honest. Like you could get like 2,000, 3,000 if you really get a good product or you really, you know how to negotiate. But I mean, it's still great. It's like, you know, a lot of these companies don't have too many restrictions, but they're like, hey, 30 second, 45 second. It doesn't matter how well the post does, but as long as you post it, I think like, you know, that to me is like fun. It's like, whoa, this is crazy. Like a company actually like, you know, believes in you and whatnot. But it's nice. I think the best thing though is if you have your own product and you sell that using your content. I think that's just the best way because you build like leverage and you build awareness to that brand. So whether it's merchandise or whatever, you know.
That's one thing that I actually noticed recently is that there have been a bunch of brands that, you know, I've been following for a while now, whether they've been doing reviews or other things, that started launching their own products. And I was like, whoa, that's wild. Like, for example, have you ever heard of a Full-Time Filmmaker?
I think so.
Yeah, so they shout out to him. He does a really great job. So if you're starting out with video and you want to learn more, phenomenal YouTube channel. And I just recently saw that they launched their own microphone.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, and it's really interesting. And again, like looks beautiful, looks amazing. They're promoting in their videos, like let's say like, for example, I was looking at a video about like podcasting, right? And he was breaking down a bunch of different microphones that you can use, and he plugged his own into that. And I was like, very smart. And I mean, there could be a lot more products. I'm just not aware of that. There's also another guy that like Marquis something, the guy
Marquez Brownlee.
Yeah. He just barely launched his own shoe.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think it's a collaboration with a company, but yeah. And there's other people, like, I don't know if you know Peter McKinnon and stuff like that. He has like a collaboration with a backpack, like Nomadic, and he'll sell his own ND filters. There's people dropping LUT packs if you're in the cinema space. Logan Paul has like energy drinks and like,
sure, like merch,
hydration drinks and merch as well. Mr. Beast is launching his own burger chain and chocolate. So
that's pretty wild.
It's wild, right? And so what people don't realize is people have an attachment to personalities. And I think that's very important. It's like, if you go to a store, you're like, hey, I really watch this person all the time. And you see their, let's say milk. We're talking about milk. And you see regular milk, and then you see like, oh, this is Artem's milk. Like, I think I'm going to have Artem's milk.
Yeah, I'm going to get that, dude. I'm going to get big and strong. I don't know, dude. I'm not swole. I don't think you're going to get my milk.
Straight from the source.
Oh, bro, that'd be wild. What are you gonna put your brand on? Like, what am I gonna see? Like Shimmer cookies? Like,
sure, maybe. Who knows? But I think it opens like a lot of avenues, and whatever's like natural, I think will come through. And so there's like a lot of if opportunities arise, like there's if like the chain and factory that like can manufacture these things, I think it's just like business relationships, and like see, I have this idea to make this thing, can you help me make this thing? And then obviously you have the marketing already, so it just depends whatever comes in the way. But
I was really thinking about that on my way to this podcast. I really had this in my mind. I'm like, if you really do have enough of a following and enough of traction, you can literally take it in so many different avenues. 100%. You can have your own products, your own services. There's just a million different ways to really break it down.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think what's also cool is like you making videos and marketing the content. It's also in another way like passive. You get people watch older videos and stuff like that, and every platform is now like trying to give money to creators, which is very like helpful and awesome. That like you can have videos that are super old still make money, and you haven't even like promoted them or anything. So it's crazy.
It's beautiful.
What
did Snapchat, what kind of collaboration did you do with them on TikTok?
With Snapchat? So
were you trying to take people off of TikTok?
So there's a company, they were recruited by Snapchat to find creators to upload content for their Spotlight program. And so Spotlight is their version of TikTok on Snapchat. If you go all the way to the right, they have basically the same format as TikTok. So they were like, hey, we'll pay you literally $60 a day just to post 2 pieces of content.
Really?
And I was like, can I upload like old content? And they were like, yeah.
Floodgates are open.
So I was like, oh, this is a piece of cake. I already have 300, 400 pieces of content that I've already edited, and I have them all saved on my phone. Nice. So all I do is wake up every day, upload 2, $60 right there. Like, that's like, what, $2K like a month just to zero work. So they were like, yeah, and then they loved the results and all that stuff. And I already knew those videos worked because they worked on TikTok. So I was like, oh, they're working on Snapchat. And then they like keep re-upping the contract. So I'm like, that's easy right there. Like,
that's amazing. I love it though. It really does goes to show you again, like you're building your influence. You get so many more options. People reach out to you. They're like, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Then at that point, you're really just kind of trying to figure out like, hey, what's going to work best for me and for the brand.
Yeah, 100%. And that like didn't take anything away from me, right? Like there's, when you're doing a sponsorship, you're like, okay, I'm trying to like sell this product to my audience. You're not like fully like in it, right? But this is like something that, this is easy. Like I'm just uploading my content on another platform. So I'm like, that's easy. So I think what's beautiful about it is like where you can take it is, so what I do is leave my business email like in the bio so that like companies can reach out, or if they see it, they're like, hey, we want to do the sponsor. I reject a lot of them because I just don't like the product, or I don't, like what they're offering, or, they just don't accept my offer. And so, But that's nice because you never know who's watching. You just never know who's watching. It could be anybody, you know, and these opportunities could come around, like wherever.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
What would you say is some good strategies for Instagram and Instagram Reels?
Okay, so Instagram and Instagram Reels, I wish I could tell you like fully what the strategy is to do well on Instagram, because all I do is just, you know, make my content and then just upload on Instagram Reels and hopefully it does well. But what I realize is
have you had, let me ask you a question. Have you had a piece perform really well on TikTok and then just absolutely dump on Instagram?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I've had the opposite happen as well. Yeah, it will do super well on Instagram, not do well on TikTok. I'll have it do super well on YouTube, but not do well on Instagram or TikTok. So they all like act differently. And the one I know the most, I think, is TikTok, because YouTube is just so random. But and Instagram, I think, is also random as well. But there are pieces of content that have done well both on Instagram and TikTok, and it's like the same piece of content. But I think the strategy, what I see people is like, you know, have, you know, I think it's like 2 to 4 or 5 hashtags and really niche them. And then there's like a category section when you upload a reel and you select the category that most relates to that. The topic. And like, don't, you know, over broaden it. But I've seen it, like I've done that, and I have some videos fail and some videos that do well. But
so you suggest only a couple of hashtags?
Couple of hashtags, I think.
Like under 10?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like videos where they'll be like, oh, this is the new Instagram strategy. You know, like those videos where people are like, oh, this is the Instagram strategy, don't have too many hashtags. So I just like follow that. I'm like, all right, kind of makes sense, I guess. Yeah. But I think also being consistent, I think, also helps.
Sure.
And then like posting it on your story as well and all that stuff. So
let me ask you a question about stories. So one thing that I heard, dude, this is something interesting that happened to me, and I don't know if it's happened to other people too, but I had like stuff that was really, really popping off. Like I had a wave where almost everything that I put out in terms of reels was getting like thousands of views, and I even got like one that was like 30 or like 50,000. It was wild, right? And then afterwards, there was a period where I paused for a little bit. Then I came back, and it was like nothing. Like I can barely scrape 1,000 now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was something that changed with algorithm. I also heard that now, if you repost whatever it is, like the reel that you're posting as a story, it does worse in the actual post.
Interesting.
Because I guess like their logic is that it takes it, like you can't have both. Or like they want attention to go to one or the other. Yeah. Have you experienced something like that?
I mean, I haven't really like thought about it like that, right? Because when I upload a video and I look at the stats, I'm just like, okay, maybe it was a bad video, right? Like I tried my best. I did all the hashtags. I shared it. Maybe, I don't know, like if the algorithm changed or whatnot. And then I'll try to do something different and try to make the video at least better. And that might be just, you know, having subtitles, or maybe having an intro, or making it shorter, or maybe even making it longer. So that's how I kind of view it, because I'm like, okay, tomorrow I have the next video. And sometimes I'll like repurpose the content. Maybe the content didn't do well, but that same footage, I'll like rearrange it or like give it a title or something like that.
I've noticed that too.
So that's kind of how I view it. And it's like, okay, maybe the content was just bad, right? And
do you, like, when you make the reel, are you posting the exact same video to your story, or do you repost the post itself to your story?
It depends. So I think before I would just post it as a story. And because it kind of looks ugly, you know, a little bit when it's like surrounded. But I've also posted the reel, like shared it to my story. And I do like that because some people can click and like it and stuff like that. So I tend to do that more a little bit now. Before I used to just post it as a story just so people could see it or whatever. But I just share the reel. I think that's like what I do. And sometimes I don't even share the reel because I'm like, oh, whoever is on the feed, they'll just see it. And because people have to look at their stories too. It's very like a lot of eyes do go on the stories too. So there's a whole other strategy for stories as well. So, you know, it's like having the option to like select with the poll option, or, you know, just having it more interactive so people can like message you or, you know, react to your stories. I think there's just like so many different strategies there as well.
What do you feel like has worked best for you when it comes to stories?
For stories, I think like, you know, the first story of the day or whatever, like in your 24-hour timeline, I think having an engagement like with the poll or something like that, like what do you think of this or what do you think of that, and then the next one could be promoting something, and then the time after it could be another engagement thing. What I've realized is like a lot of the engaging stories are the ones that do really well, and then it just shows up first in the story algorithm.
So basically when you're asking people questions.
Yeah. I think like getting people to like
click.
question and be involved. I think when people feel involved, they really get into it. And then sometimes they like share the story, like, oh, what do you think of this? It could be like, oh, whose dress do you like better? I don't know, like something, just something to engage the audience.
I like it. So next time I like post a picture of us like behind the scenes, I'd be like, who do you think is hotter?
Yeah.
Me or Shimmer? Clearly it's going to be you, so I'm going to take a big fat loss on that one. But you know what? Listen, if it gets me the clicks, I'm in.
It might be 50-50, and then it'll be even more engaging, you know?
So, yo, guys, like right now.
Yeah, you just start a war like, yo, mine's better. Yo, everyone click me.
I love it. Okay, so you gave a couple of really great ideas for stories, which I love. And I think engagement, it's totally right. Like the more you can get people to interact with you, it doesn't matter what it is. Even if you're just doing like a little, like even just a little heart, that's good. Even if it's just like doing that little, whatever, the heart thing, you know, where you have to slider, that slider, or just answering a question, like any of that is really good. Just any amount of engagement of people interacting with your brand, it creates like you're putting a tiny step forward towards them, you know, developing a relationship with you.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then I'm seeing also, again, from your stories or from the actual reels itself, you're saying definitely use like, you know, fewer hashtags. I think subtitles are also very critical, right?
I think subtitles are like game changer, to be honest. Like if you can subtitle, there's apps like CapCut, which auto subtitles for you.
And Instagram does it on auto now too.
Instagram does it as well. I do prefer CapCut because you can style it more.
Okay.
It doesn't look like the typical Instagram, which the typical Instagram does look good.
Yeah.
It just, people
It's different.
People can kind of tell like, oh, it's from Instagram auto subtitling. With CapCut, it's a free app. They do the captions. It's really well done, and so I typically tend to use that. But that's a little bit.
Use the link Shimmer. No.
Yeah, use the link Shimmer. I wish. But you know, I think subtitles are a game changer.
Okay, I love it. What's worked best for you? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, TikTok. What's worked best for you there?
It changes all the time. So like, and it also depends on me as well, because sometimes I'll be like, I'm in the mood to post interview content, then I'll post like some gaming content. And it's like in seasons and waves. Like sometimes the interview stuff doesn't do as well, but the gaming stuff goes crazy. I think it just depends on the piece of content, and the algorithm, and people are getting smarter, and the attention spans are getting smarter. So
smarter? I think they're getting lower, bro.
No, like people know how to use the algorithm. Oh, like better. More people, better. Okay. And like they're optimizing it better, right? These strategies, like, okay, shorten the video, have the cuts here. Everyone has subtitles now. Like all this stuff that wasn't there like a year or two ago. Like people weren't like hip to it. Now people are hip to it. So then you have to differentiate yourself even more. So I think that's what I mean. It's like people are getting smarter. It's like when people are making content, they like know how to hack people's retention.
Wow.
And I think that's what's really interesting. But for me, I think now I'm like at a period where I'm trying to like make something I really enjoy and like make it fun, but something that's also repeatable and something that's not very difficult to do, but still have a fun amount of doing it. And I think podcasting is actually a really great avenue, because you can have great conversations, and obviously you can make little clips out of it, and you still made the whole video and you still put in the effort, but you can still market it by putting these little clips. But those little clips are a great piece of content in itself too. It's not like you're just marketing it. You just have great little pieces.
Shimmer clips.
Shimmer clips. So like
that really is the way to go though.
Yeah.
Like and I think Joe Rogan was one of the first ones that really like led that way forward, especially for JRE clips, right?
Yeah.
And now everyone's just following suit, but it makes so much sense. Like you have this really beautiful long piece of content. Why not shave it down into shorter clips? And like, boom, you can put it on YouTube, you can put it on TikTok, you can put it on your Instagram. There's so many avenues for it.
Yeah, and it's so easy to share, and it's so easy to like, people be like, oh, look at this, like from this podcast. You may not never listen or watch the full episode, but at least like you'll convert at least, 1% to 5% of the amount of people that viewed
people
all
will follow that.
Yeah, people will follow it.
And like they may not even like listen to your podcast, but they may be huge fans of the clips.
Yeah.
Because they're like, look, I want to hear more about these topics. I don't want to sit here through like an hour, 2 or 3 hour long episode, but yeah, man, like 2-3 minutes, give me that.
Yeah, 100%. And like most of the Joe Rogan stuff I've seen is from clips. Like I don't even watch the full episodes, but like I love the clips. And then unless it's like a person that they have on that like I really love. But I think that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like you can easily share conversations, and there's podcasts where I just like literally just look at the clips. I've never seen an episode. Like I don't even know what their show is called. I just watch the clips, you know. But there's a beauty in that as well.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
So going back to TikTok, like how many hashtags? What do you put in your do captions even matter? Like how many hashtags do you do? What kind of like text or subs? What do you feel like is a good idea there?
So on TikTok, what I recommend is finding a niche. Like it could be whatever niche, right? You could be into cooking, let's say, cooking Russian dishes.
Dude, let's go.
What are some dishes?
Dude, actually Korean. Can we go?
Korean?
Korean
Okay.
food's so good, bro.
Yeah.
Some bulgogi, let's go.
Bulgogi.
Kimchi jjigae, dude, let's go.
Yeah, so let's say you only cook Korean food. So I'd, in the hashtag I'd be like, all right, Korean food or something like cooking Korean food or something. You look at the hashtag and it shows like how many people have watched that hashtag, videos on that hashtag. So I tend to go, all right, if up to 300 million people have seen it, like 100 to 300 million people have seen that hashtag, I'll put like 2 of those. And then I'll put a hashtag that has like, 10 to 100 million, and look at those hashtags around that specific content. And then I'll look at one that has like probably 1 billion views, but I'll only put one because you're competing with 1 billion viewers. So I'll put, 4 to 5 hashtags on there. You don't have to put a caption. And I know some people that haven't put any hashtags, no caption, and it still worked. But to rebuttal that, they kind of don't have a niche and they had good content. So it can, TikTok can figure out who to push it to whoever. But if you have a niche, use it to your advantage. Yeah. And so push that video to those hashtags. And I'd say like recommend doing that. Subtitles are a game changer. And then intros are also a game changer. Like a 2 to 3 second hook, you'll be like, it'll be amazing. Like, oh my God, this is how I cook, bulgogi, or like, this is how I cook bulgogi with my eyes closed or something like that. People would be like, yo, that's crazy. Like, how'd you do
with
it?
With his eyes closed?
Yeah.
No way.
No way.
Show me more.
Yeah, show me more.
Sponsored by this guy.
And as long as you deliver on that, I mean, you should be good, and you edit it and chop it correctly. And, but yeah, I think subtitles really help with people's retention because they tend to read. Even if you're speaking, I think it's just good. And the apps just automatically make subtitles for you. So I think that's a good way, like if you're doing that content. And then just consistently post. I don't think consistency on TikTok really matters that much because I think it's just a video by video basis. But
consistency for your own sake.
Consistency for your own sake, yeah. And I think like more people will be familiar with your brand as more. So I think consistency is great because you can learn how to edit better and get faster and better. It just everything's better with consistency,
Well, what about Instagram hashtags? Do you also, because obviously saying like 10 to 100 million, that's a big number right there.
Yeah.
I think Instagram is probably a lot lower than that, right?
Instagram, the hashtags work differently because those hashtags have been used on posts that are like a decade old, right? So I can't really tell what's a good hashtag by the amount of views it has.
Really?
Or like the amount of posts it has.
Okay.
Because some of those hashtags might be super old. Oops. Almost smacked the mic. I can't tell. I can't tell like if those hashtags work well now or if they did work well back then. So I try my best. I wish I knew the strategy for Instagram, but I really don't. Some videos just randomly pop off, and so. But just try your best to, anybody listening, just try your best to make the best content you can. I think that's the best advice I could give is just learn how to make better content and be more authentic, because in a world where AI is taking over and everything, and like AI is just randomly making content for us.
Are we even having this conversation?
No. We are robots.
It's AI generated Shimmer.
Hello.
And Artem.
Imagine how easy our lives would be, just like, but that wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fun. So I think authenticity really matters on that. So
It'll be crazy though to see like how far it advances in 10 years. But I don't want to think about that, honestly. Hey, so dude, as we're getting ready to wrap this up, tell me where are you in your brand and maybe your guys' brand as a group? Like, where are you guys going? What do you see for the next like 2, 3, 5 years?
Yeah. Okay. So I would love to give you like an overall plan, but
give me the master plan.
But life just, I don't know about you, but like life just takes you in so many different directions, right? Yeah. Especially like in content space, like one piece of content will take you there and take you there. Obviously, like I'm in love with making music, and so I do definitely want to push like our music album out and push my personal music as well and promote that as well. And I would love to like get back on the road again. Not that we didn't do it like in a crazy amount, but I think that would just be like awesome, and continue to make content and meet people as well, and just expand this creative businesses. So like I recently hired an editor just to edit like all my like gaming clips and all that stuff and just upload them. So like I want to have it all like automated and stuff like that, and nice. Just scale and increase production. I think that would be awesome. Like if I just show up to the podcast and then just like have somebody edit all that, edit all the clips ready to go. I think what's hard is that you...
And upload it for you.
Upload it for you, yeah. Although I enjoy that a lot. It just takes time, right?
Really?
I really enjoy like editing.
I personally don't, dude. I hate that stuff.
You hate editing?
No, yeah. Even uploading, dude. Dude, honestly, like if it was up to me, I would love to just not even be on social. I'll just like check in just for the stats, and that's it. Yeah. And then I'm gone. Because like to me, honestly, social media, like the way that I personally use it, is just about like the actual messages, because that personal connection, and that's kind of it. Like everything else, I would love for someone to just do it for me. And like for example, at our brand, like Arousal Studios, we have a manager that posts everything out. For my personal, I feel like, again, you want to be careful with that, because you just really want someone that really understands you and your brand. 100%. So you want to, I'm keep doing that myself, but I think eventually that would be really cool, just to have somebody that literally does everything for you, A to Z, and they do it like well enough that it's actually organically growing. And then you can focus on the parts that you love the most. And like you said, like you might enjoy the uploading process, right? I don't. I enjoy this piece. And like you also mentioned, like it would be cool if you can just come on here, you record, and like somebody else does everything else. I would love that.
Yeah, and I think that's like my goal, is just like I want to be able to do more stuff. I don't know if you should, Rob Dyrdek, like Ridiculousness. But there's like a show on MTV, and he says he films like 500 episodes per year. Dude. And he was like, oh, it only takes like 4% of my time. And I'm like, what? He just shows up and like, records like 3 30-minute episodes, and it goes on MTV, and just, he's like, I just show up, and like I just built such a good team that does everything that like it makes his life easier, and he gets to spend more time with his family. He gets to do like, he gets to work on other things and other projects. So that's, I think, what I'm trying to do, is learn how to make like a good team and increase like a creative business and social media business. So
dude, I love it.
Slowly working on it though. So
can I tell you something? So I've actually really noticed that only in the last couple of weeks, honestly, and it blew me away. I realized that I can actually finish my day, because again, praise God, glory to God, man. But I can literally finish my day by 12.
That's awesome.
It's so crazy. Like it blew me away. So I realized I can knock everything out that I need to do by 12 or even earlier. And our team takes care of the rest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, honestly, like what you've done and seeing what you've done, it's like crazy. It's not like a easy thing. Like it's like awesome to see. So it's like, oh, you get this person to like talk to this person, It's like, it's very admirable.
Dude, thank you. And I get inspired by you, man, because again, like you're also, I see you pushing so much. And also I really appreciate your work ethic and your consistency too. Because I think a lot of people want what you have. A lot of people want what, other people have, but not a lot of people are willing to put in the hard work. Not a lot of people are willing to like sacrifice the short-term pleasure for long-term success. And discipline themselves. And I see that within you, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I think what's really lucky with me is that I just love doing this. You could probably relate. It's like you loved making the music videos, and for no money. You're making zero things. I just happen to be that like social media is just a big money maker now. It's like everybody wants to do it, and I just got lucky that you know, making content is like now profitable and stuff like that. So I'm just lucky to be in it, you know.
Praise God. And
praise
I mean, I want to wish you, dude, all the absolute best, and I can't wait to see you pop off even more.
Thank you, man.
Dude, it'll be fun to do like another episode, you know, in a bit, and see how everybody grows and progresses.
No, for real. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Where can people find you? That's like one of the most important pieces, man. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, you can find me at Shimmer Wali, SHIMMERWALI, at Shimmer Wali, everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
And I'll include the links to that in the show notes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And rate the show 5 stars.
Yeah. Thank you. And you got your own podcast too, right?
Yeah.
What is that called?
It's called the Keep Shining Podcast. It's on like all my socials as well. So it doesn't have like a separate channel or anything. It's just my own personal.
Well, guys, check that out too. And on that note, we will finish, guys. Thank you so much for listening and for watching too. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, or you know, in the comments, DMs. Definitely rate this and share it with a friend if you found it useful. And dude, again, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you so much for having me on.
All right.